rebuilding. A catastrophic failure, a new start. Physically, mentally, our careers, our businesses. Step back, first step, next step. The driver in me just wants to get it done tomorrow. We'll do this, do that, let's move this, where are we at with this? You build some confidence, build some self-esteem, start to feel better about yourself. The Silverback Blueprint Podcast, a show for men over 40. We focus on getting stronger, staying motivated, building discipline, creating a community, and becoming truly happy. Oh.
There we go.
Oh, technical guilty.
You have to touch.
Apparently Luke just informed me that we haven't actually recorded the last 9 episodes. He just realized he hadn't been hitting the right button on the old buttonola machine there and stuff, and that is the technical term and podcasting word for that little box, the buttonola machine. So, we have some work cut out for us. Guys, welcome to episode 127 of the Silverback Blueprint Podcast. What has changed for you? You know, if you've been listening to this podcast up to now, which is almost 150 episodes, including the interviews we've done along the way, and well, maybe 10 less now because we might have made a mistake there. I'm only kidding. Luke's a professional. But yeah, so we're about 150 episodes in. If you've been listening this far, obviously you're interested in improving yourself. This is a podcast about rebuilding yourself over 40. So in that journey so far, what has changed for you? What has changed around you? Have we taken time to even step back and look at that and sort of, you know, pause for a second, take a lay of the land? Because if you've been doing any of this work and you've been listening and applying some of it, things have to have been changing. If you look honestly at things and you sit around and, you know, things haven't changed, you might be stuck in that, you know, that, what do we call that? You know, when you get stuck to listening to all the podcasts and the motivational memes on Facebook where you kind of just, you're in the romance of wanting to change things, but you haven't actually done some of the work. It's good to see if that's been happening as well. It's a bit of a wake-up call as well. But if you've been doing some of the work, if you've been applying some of the stuff that we're talking about, then things have been changing for you. You know, I get feedback, I get messages and comments from people on Facebook and, you know, telling me they're enjoying the podcast and, you know, some of the things that they're struggling with and how, you know, there's some changes for them and stuff. And that's great to hear. I love it. I mean, at the end of the day, I truly do want to help people do better. And in helping them, people improve, it helps me. You know, there's many times that, you know, even when I was talking in an episode earlier about being in a funk, one of the things I've done for myself over the years to make sure that a funk doesn't take over is I do stuff like schedule myself 5:30 opening shifts at the gym. So I have to get up. That means I have to get to bed earlier because I know myself. If I didn't have that reason to get up, I would sleep in. I would stay up till 2 or 3 in the morning. I would sleep until 8, 9, 10, noon if I didn't have a reason, something bigger than me to get up. So if I know that if I don't open the gym at 5:30, I'm going to have members that are upset, I don't want that. That's not what we're all about. If I know I'm teaching at 5:45 in the morning, I know I need to be there. I need to be awake and I need to have a workout ready. So that forces me to stay, you know, focused. So that structure is super important because it makes sure that I'm present. And that's part of knowing my weaknesses and my strengths. You know, I can sit there on the computer at 12 o'clock at night and start working on stuff and work till 4 in the morning. It's not that I'm lazy. It's just my patterns are weird and always have been. But the issue is I don't want to get caught in that routine because if you get up in the middle of the day and you're really trying to get shit done, you're way behind. You're way behind. If you're starting to make your first phone calls at 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and your emails and stuff like that, most people are wrapping up their day. The people out there, the producers, the people that get shit done, the majority of them are up early getting stuff done because they know it's important to get it done early. They know the world is, you know, paying attention early. It's quieter in the morning. Messages will get through quicker. They'll have a better chance of being read. You know, look at your emails that come in for you after lunch before you go home. You don't get to them. But the emails that come into your early in your day and stuff, you see them because your day is starting. The noise of the day hasn't hit you yet. So for me, I know that's super important. So those are some of the things I've learned to do over time. Now, one of the things I talked about earlier too, about managing my energy and stuff, is that, every once in a while I get to the point where I take on a little too much, and then it gets a little overwhelming. Then I get tired. So I got to watch that. But those are things, again, I've learned. So journaling, having a plan, my top three to five activities I have to get done during the day. By outlining those things and attacking them first, I get a lot more done. It actually opens up my day a lot more. So I'm able to focus on other things. Or I'm able to do more things with less energy expended, much more efficient. So those are some of the things that I've learned that are super important that I do and I stay on top of. One of the other things I've also learned too is that when I do feel that I'm stuck in a bit of a rut, is I need to break out. I need to take a couple of days off. I need to do some of the things I like to do, which is visit a buddy's gym, go over there, talk shop, hang out, train, because those things energize me and they fire me up, so that when I come back, I have all that pent up energy and momentum that I can turn around and fuel myself with as I go back to my day-to-day stuff that has to get done overall. These are some of the things that I've learned about myself that I learned that are actually pretty common with all the other guys and stuff. So talking about it, articulating it, has a lot of power for it. Hearing it from someone else. But like anything else, that information is valuable, but putting it into action is invaluable. So if you're listening to these podcasts and things haven't been changing for you, it's because you're not applying some of the principles. You're not working it beyond the fact of listening to podcasts. And that's great. I think that's fantastic. It's a start. If that helps you get some mindset and the right space in your head going, fantastic. But then we need to do something with that. Now, if you're just starting to listen to the podcast and you're at episode 1, it gets better, right? We're getting a little bit better at what we're doing. But at the end of the day, it's all real. It's all true, right? So there's value to it from day one. In fact, I was listening to one of my earlier podcasts, and compared to how they come out now and how they sound now, and how they sound now, we've improved a lot. And we talk about it. If you wait till things are perfect to start anything, you're never going to start it. You wait too long. And that's one of the other principles too that you'll learn, you've heard in this podcast, is that just start. Just fucking start. I had a guy message me today about our Silverback Blueprint podcast, Silverback Blueprint program we have at the gym. And asked me a couple questions about it. So I just say, tell me a bit about yourself. And then he came back with a whole litany of things and stuff. And the way he is answering those questions, I know he's been listening to the podcast. I could tell, because he's hitting topics that we've talked about. So what's really exciting, and where I told him I'm proud of him, is that he's taken action. He reached out. Because I guarantee you, he probably has been sitting on the sidelines for a while, wanting to reach out, but not quite ready to take that first step. It's scary. It's intimidating. Change is difficult. We all know those things. We know them to be true. So just reaching out is a big step. And I take that serious, so I right away answer that first couple of emails as quickly as I can. And the next thing I try to do is get them and sit down in front with me at the gym so we can have a face-to-face. Because I want to keep that progress happening. I want to keep those steps. I want to keep that action moving forward for him, as much as for my business, of course. But really, I know how important it is that once you decide you want to take action, you want to get things happening quickly. If we sit there and say, yeah, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to go, and in 2 weeks I'm going to go here, and in a month I'm going to go do that, I'll tell you right now, you're not going to fucking do any of it. Because a month is going to go by and you won't have done it, and then you'll feel worse about it. So if things aren't happening for you and you're listening to this podcast, it's because you aren't taking some action. Now, you can come up with all kinds of excuses. You're busy, you got lots on your plate, you got too much going on, you don't have any money, you don't have any time. None of it is relevant, and very little of it is actual true as to the true reason why you haven't made some changes. Because there's nothing stopping you from going for a walk tomorrow morning. You get up a little earlier, go for a walk. You're not spending any money, right? But we want to use those sometimes as crux, as messages and stuff. Messages to our brain telling us it's okay. not to do it. We need to change that messaging. I often tell people, stand up right now, right? And walk around your desk, take a deep breath. That action is super powerful, and that leads to the next step. Right? The sooner we take action, the sooner things start to happen. It's that simple. Imperfect action is so much more important than perfect inaction. I'll wait till, I remember hearing this, early on in the gym days. Oh, I'm going to wait till I lose some weight before they join the gym. I'm like, that's fucking ridiculous. But what I'm really hearing is my self-esteem is so poor that I'm so embarrassed to walk in that I feel I have to do this before. I didn't see that message years ago. I didn't hear that message years ago. But now I do. Now I understand why that person feels that way. And I get it. So the key is to find a great facility, like Hostile, that doesn't judge, that works with people in this very same position, that need to come in, that need to get started. And really, we use workouts to trigger more self-esteem, to build more confidence. Small successes, being able to do 3 push-ups, that's a small victory. Coming in 3 times this week, that's another victory. When you start adding those victories up, the confidence and self-esteem has no choice but to improve. So when I mentally made that switch to understanding what that message was, I was better able to communicate to those people that are feeling that. And they're like, oh, you're in my head. How do you know? Well, because I feel the same thing. We all do. I don't care what level you are. The more we improve, the better we become. It's great. But fear and insecurity still creeps in. We just get better at dealing with it. We catch it sooner. We have a lot more positive track record to put up against them when we realize that's what's happening. But we've got to deal with it. But it's in the action, guys. And if you've been listening to the podcast and haven't been doing anything, look around you. Nothing has changed. You're in the same spot you were a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. And as we get older, that shit flies by so much faster. Every blink of the eye, it's Friday. 2 blinks of the eye, it's a new month. It's Christmas again. Right? And I'll tell you right now, when you get to the major holidays and you're not happy with yourself, those holidays suck. I don't care how much money you have, how many presents are under the tree. If you're not happy with yourself, holidays are the worst, because it seems to be those days are when we reflect on our failures the most. So don't do that. Don't have another holiday like that. If you're listening to this podcast and you're doing something, fantastic. And if you're listening to this podcast and you're not taking action, start taking action. It's that simple. It really, really is. That's the beauty of this. You don't have to become a doctor to be able to start working on yourself. You don't have to wait to the 5th degree belt in a martial art to be able to start working on yourself. You need just to stand up. Walk around that desk. You need to stand up and go for a walk at lunch. You need to pick a salad over a burger. It's that simple. It's those quick little choices. And that's really what it is. Life is a menu. Like when you're in the restaurant, people tell me, well, I have a hard time eating because we eat a lot. We have business meetings. I'm like, I haven't seen a menu in the last 5 years at a restaurant that doesn't have a salad on it. So it's easy. Make that selection. It's right there. Choose that. People don't have a problem, asking for a specific drink at a bar. And if they don't know how to make it, they'll explain to them how to make it. So what's wrong with, ordering a salad and asking them to throw a chicken breast on the side? You just have to want to. You just have to decide that's what you're going to do. I was talking to one of my clients, and, he has one of those jobs where he does have to do a lot of entertaining at lunch, like a lot of lunch meetings and stuff. And it's stuff that he's the one in charge of. And I said, great. Then you get to choose the restaurant. He goes, well, yeah. I said, then choose a better restaurant. Choose a restaurant where you can get a really healthy meal. Now, if the people across from you want to eat, the garbage, then let them. But you don't have to. And if they want to pile 4 drinks into their bellies while they're having lunch and stuff like that, that's fine. You can have soda water. You're not losing a deal because you didn't get liquored up with the guy. And I'll tell you, if you did, that's probably someone you don't want to do business with in the first place. It's just changing it. And I'll tell you, you know how many times in the last while that I've made those changes about going to a better restaurant that has fresh things for a lunch hour, a lunch meeting and stuff? The people that I go there with, they're like, oh, I never thought of doing this. And they're like, well, what are you ordering? So I show them what I'm ordering and stuff. They're like, my God, I'll order that too. Most times people don't do something different because they don't realize they can do something different. Or, and this is a big one, they're shy, they're nervous, they're intimidated to make the better choice. They're worried about the person across the table is going to think of them. That happens a lot. We know the right answer. We know it has to get done, but because of our self-esteem and our confidence is lacking, we're more worried about what the person besides us or across the table from us is going to think than we are about doing the right thing for ourselves. And if that person is going to judge you poorly because you didn't order a double scotch for lunch, then really, do you want to be judged by that person? That goes back to who we hang out with in our circle of influence, doesn't it? Right at the end of the day. That's what's important. You guys are in charge. You guys take the action. And if you're doing it, there's no way things aren't changing for you. There's no way. Now, maybe you need to stop, like I said earlier, and take a look around yourself and appreciate some of the changes, right? And understand that, things are evolving. We just need to stop every once in a while and smell the roses, right? We need to stop every once in a while and take an inventory. And maybe when you stop and take that inventory, you look at things, you realize that maybe things aren't moving in the direction you want. They're moving in a direction, but maybe not the direction you want. So course correct. Make the change. It's all on you. It's all on you. You decide. You decide. If you're listening to this podcast and you put it into action, guys, some kick-ass shit's going to happen. I guarantee it. And as always, leave us a review. A 5-star rating. Hell, I'll take a 4-star rating. I don't care. I'll be honest. If you feel it's only worth a 4, just give me a 4. It's okay. Right? A positive review. All that stuff helps. I think we're up to 16 5-star reviews on iTunes. We're taking iTunes by storm. Slowly, very, very slowly. Head on over to Hostile Gear. Use the code Silverback to get 20% off some amazing merch. It's a cool word to say, merch. And as always, guys, work hard, motherfuckers, and I'll talk to you guys later.